right, guys, we are live. Welcome to another episode of Smash Times Lead Therapy. This is a very special episode because it's our 100th episode. And I got to tell you, it's exciting times. Exciting times. I have a very cool guest on tonight. Man, I've been watching this guy's content for about a year and a half now. And man, I just love it. It's so funny, it's so original, and it's a little crazy. So without further ado, let's bring him on, the man of the hour. Print, shoot, repeat.
What's up?
What's
Such
up,
an
dude?
I like the look, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how you do this, bro.
Oh man, I imagine that during the middle of the summer when it's like 90% humidity and 95 degrees. It's a lot of fun.
Dude, I don't know. Oh, I'm already running into my first obstacle. Shit.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The mask never comes off for me, so I actually don't even eat, drink, or anything.
He's a Mandalorian, folks. No, but
Yep,
I'm
yep.
honestly, I'm still ugly no matter what. So,
Oh,
ah,
don't be too hard on yourself,
dude,
man.
I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I tried, folks. But dude,
Try.
just to give people an idea of how much that sucks. I mean, he does it all the time, and I did what 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm tapping out, folks. So, print, shoot, repeat, PSR. If you guys don't know, he does this 3D printing. So let's talk about that because man, I'm psyched. I'm so psyched to get into it. I bought an Ender Pro 3. It's sitting in a box for like 6 months,
Hey, it's okay, man.
and I haven't messed with it.
We've been there. We've been there. It takes a little while. It can be a little intimidating to get it started, but once you get started, you get the little that little itch, and then you start scratching the itch. The itch doesn't go away once you print the pews, man. It's fun.
Nice. Nice. All right, let's check the chat real quick. We got Thomas Pan, In Crew,
So
the Critical Critic. Oh man, is that my wife? Is she in here? No. Hey Zeus, Bobby Goodwin, Texan, C6, Steel City.
nice.
Hey Zeus. Nice, man.
Looking at the live chat. What's up, everyone? Good to see
Nice.
everyone in here. I did post it to my Instagram story, so hopefully some people show up for that. Or
Oh,
for
nice.
that.
So I did have one question. The first question out of the box, everyone's like, ask him how long he's been into guns. Now, have you always been into guns, or is this kind of just last like 5, 10 years kind of a deal?
So I would say it's no, it hasn't been always. No, not at all. I kind of probably probably around 10 years ago I like started to go to the range with some of my friends. I didn't own any guns, but I enjoyed shooting them, and that was like my first kind of exposure. I actually grew up in a household that was quite anti-gun and very not down with the guns.
I gotta tell
Very,
you, I'm a refugee from California, and I moved to Texas. And again, a lot of my relatives are so far left they couldn't turn right if they wanted to. And
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and even though I have a little bit of tree hugger left in me, my politics have gotten. It's funny. Guns have led me to a whole different political mindset. I met some really cool people 20 years ago. I probably never would have talked to. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think my family, my parents, particularly my father, had some tough experiences, negative experiences with guns, and so his he was uh, not trying to entertain any kind of gun related activities, which looking back on it, I can understand it. But when you try to, oftentimes in life, if you try to suppress some sort of activity, for your kids or whatever, and you do it so much in such an intense way, like I wasn't even allowed to have Nerf guns or like violent video games, like none of that that had to do with guns or anything. Oftentimes, those things sometimes come back and backfire in ways.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
no pun intended, but yeah. So it the passion of firearms kind of came kind of slowly a little bit to into my life as I got to, go to the range with some friends and experience it and myself and enjoy it. And then I got a skeet shooting shotgun as my first gun. It was a Remington 870. Had that for a few years, and I thought it was really interesting and fun to go to the range and shoot the shotgun. And then I shot my friend's AR and did the Glock thing and all that stuff. And
The ARs get addictive. It's like Tinker Toys for adults. I mean, there's so much cool stuff. Like, I knew zero about guns, and so my first gun was a Mossberg 500. And I actually went to the range. I didn't know how to load it, and
yeah,
my brother was on my phone. He's like, "Turn it upside down and load it." So I was looking through the buttstock, and this Marine next to me thought I was just fucking with him. He's like, "Are you serious? You don't know how to load that?" I'm like, "I don't know how to load it, man. I've never shot a shotgun or any gun." So, yeah, I'm about 12 years into the gun game. And I love it.
cool.
I
Yeah,
love it.
man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I didn't grow up around it, so I was super curious and just took it and was like a sponge and absorbed a lot of information in a lot of short amount of time. But actually, it really wasn't until the pandemic happened, and I think this is the case for a lot of Americans. And I've said this before that you know a lot of people realize the importance of being proficient with firearms or understanding firearms and being able to defend yourself during that time. So I was one of those people, and it kind of had to do with being in a very isolated spot and feeling like I needed to protect myself and my loved ones around me. So
Right.
that's why I went and got some semi-autos and started to take them apart and tinker with them, like you said, with the AR and the Glock. And then I kind of realized, okay, well, you can 3D print these. Like, whoa, and it's legal. Wow. So I think a lot of people's perception of 3D printed guns is that for some reason they think that they're illegal because of a lot of propaganda and negative propaganda around
Yeah.
firearms that are, without a serial number. When people have been making guns since the founding of this country, so without any permission, and that was the whole point when it came to defeating the British. Yeah, a bunch of homemade guns.
So the
Yeah,
pandemic was your wake up call.
it was. It was kind
Did
of
you
my
have any
my
kind of like scary situation happen where you were like, "Oh shit, man, I need to be able to defend myself"?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did. I was living in a pretty remote island in Vermont, actually, which is where I grew up. And I didn't grow up on the island, but I had moved to the island because, yeah, it's just things had gotten kind of bad. But I found this great, beautiful spot on the lake, and it happened to be that my neighbor was like going through a mental health crisis, and had schizophrenia. And he I had never really met him before or anything, and he came storming outside the house one night and like freaked out and like was yelling
Oh
for me to
wow.
come out. Didn't even know who he was, and that was one of many instances that he really said some weird stuff and mentioned my girlfriend in a very weird way, and I got real
Oh shit.
I started mentioning that, and I was like, okay, man, last thing I want to do is last thing I want to do is hurt somebody. But if you're trying to hurt me or my loved ones, my girlfriend, I want to be able to defend myself if that ever came to the, if that ever was a situation. So that's what that made me do it. And luckily, my neighbor, never became violent, and I never was put into that position, thankfully.
Nice. Hope you got
But
help, man, because a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
people, you don't
during
know
the
what they're going
pandemic
through.
too. Yeah, I think unfortunately the pandemic really affected a lot of people's mental health. That were, if you were on the teetering on the balance in the balance of maybe losing it, and then that happens. I think that is a catalyst. That was a catalyst for a lot of people's kind of loss of sanity, and even normal people like myself. I was struggling with the isolation of just what it was like during that time, and just the uncertainty and everything around it. It was a dark time. So yeah, he ended up moving out, and I actually ended up having a pretty good conversation with him. We were able to talk, and
Oh, nice.
he yeah, and he like opened up to me, and he still thought I was he thought I was spying on him. He thought I was spying on his computer, and I'd like hacked into his computer. That was one of
Well, I
the
mean,
yeah,
were you walking around with like goggles on?
no, no. See, this was pre PSR. This he actually is the one I could credit actually to the channel being created, this personality, this persona being created, because PSR wasn't a thing at that point, and because I hadn't really discovered the joy of 3D printing your own guns, and so I kind of owe him a lot of this right now. A lot of this is because of my neighbor.
Man,
So
that's cool. But it does take one kind of firecracker or something to kind of really set off the gun obsession, or just realizing that you need it. Like when I first moved from LA to Houston, we had a hurricane that day, like the next day, and I'm an idiot outside with the handy cam because I've never seen a hurricane before. And then the carport ripped off and it got really fucking scary, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I went and hid in my apartment. And then I just realized how unprepared I was, because I lived in a really nice part of Houston with doctors, nurses, lawyers, but we lost power for like 7 days.
wow.
And those doctors, nurses, and lawyers, everyone started banding together in groups. And it got to where I didn't want to go outside and take the trash out unless I had my pistol on me. It got really freaky.
Yeah.
It got spooky, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are well off people. And after 4 days of being in pitch blackness, it got weird. So right then I was like, I need to be way more prepared. So
Totally,
that was my
totally.
wake up call.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people had those same wake up calls, and I think some people who were already into guns got more into guns, got more interested in being prepared, and or even just more interested in the hobby of being able to make your own stuff, which is, I think, really cool.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of reaction from people when they meet you and they're like, oh man? So for instance, short story, my wife is like, who's on your live tonight? I go, oh, PSR. She goes, cool. She goes on Instagram or YouTube. And the first two things she sees is your holiday shorts, the Santa shorts. And she goes,
Oh,
this guy? And she skips over. And the next video is the drum mag chest mag. And I'm like,
oh,
oh,
the
Jesus.
chest rig.
The chest rig. I was like, that's not the greatest example. He makes regular stuff too. She goes, this guy? Really?
Yes.
Like, those are two of
Yes.
my favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. Don't tell her that though.
No. So
Yeah.
that's when you got into 3D printing, is during the pandemic.
Yeah. So after I got my Glock to defend myself from my really mentally unstable neighbor who was kind of low key threatening me, I got that and started to take it apart and thought it was really neat just how it worked. And I got into the engineering behind it. Started to watch Forgotten Weapons and like learn more about
Yeah, it's a
how
good channel.
guns work. Yeah, Ian's awesome, and just started watching gun tubers, started watching Grantham, Brandon, and seeing all these people. And then I got to watching Control Pew, who's just like, YouTube has removed his channel, RIP. Control Pew's the GOAT, by the way.
Yeah.
Great, great person that really influenced me in the beginning is Control Pew. And he focuses all on, how to get started in 3D printing. And he's a great resource.
Did he move his stuff over to Rumble?
I'm sure he's still got content on Odyssey and Rumble. I know.
Man.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure he's still got that stuff. But he's doing his thing. He really was really inspiring. And you getting that feedback? I'm getting some feedback. I wonder if
No, I'm not. Is it my echo or your echo?
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know. That's odd. Anyway, I'll try to. Oh, now it's chilling out. Sorry. Sounds like someone's ripping ass. It sounded like a massive fart in my
Hey,
head.
man, I thought I pushed mute. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't know. Maybe I need to check my undies here. But no. So so I got into that, and then I watched a documentary that was done by this guy, Jake Hanrahan, about Jay Stark, who's a influencer. Well, not influencer. Sorry, he was an influence for me for sure. But he was a gun designer, essentially testing the FGC9, developing the FGC9 in Europe, where it's super illegal. And it was a documentary about him, and I got really inspired by that documentary. And I just was like, man, this is super cool. I'd love to try this out, and downloaded a couple of the files. And I already had a Glock, like I already had my Glock parts, so I just took apart my factory Glock and printed the lower for a Glock, the frame. And I know that sounds absurd because obviously the Glock frame is going to be the more durable of the two, the factory
Right.
Glock frame. But I was like, well, I would love to just see this, proof of concept in action of like, oh, I'm going to take this film. Probably
I could
has to
open
do-
up here. I could open up YouTube and see if I can still hear it.
All right. Well, someone said in the chat, bro is testing a Tesla coil. Too many beans at dinner. Yeah, bro. It's a taser. Oh, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Oh, I don't see it. I don't see
Yeah,
it.
it says everyone's good now.
Huh? That's weird.
It's the feds, dude. The feds are trying to drop
It's
our
probably
stream.
someone said that they had an ad, and when they tried to come in the chat, I'm like, well, that's gonna go away soon.
Yeah. Anything with me on it, man. Kiss your monetization goodbye, dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
okay, well,
Obama.
thanks. Oh yeah, we'll keep it. We'll keep our eye on it. We'll keep our ear on it because I can definitely hear that over here.
Can you still hear it?
No. It's good now. It's good now. So,
man.
we
All right.
were
First
so, yeah,
question
so
from the crowd: what is your current printer setup? What do you have currently?
I currently am rocking the Bamboo Lab X1 Carbon. I know
That
it's
sounds sexy.
somewhat it's somewhat controversial for the people that are in GunCAD, but I think it's because it's it's connected. All of the updates that you can get on it and stuff are connected to Wi-Fi. So it's essentially a smart printer that a lot of people don't trust or whatever because it's connected to the internet. You can use just an SD card and transfer, but the cool thing is, I mean, if you kind of don't care about that, which I get that some people do, or it's a very, very good and easy printer to print with. It's super, for me at least. I've probably put 25 spools of filament through it so far over 2 months ish, maybe a little bit more. And I haven't even had to adjust the belts. Like I've put some lube on the little guide rod things, but it's a killer printer. And
Now, is that a good beginner printer?
I mean, I would argue yes, but it is kind of out of the price range for some people who are getting into the hobby. I would assume it's about $1,200.
Ooh,
Maybe a little bit cheaper. I got mine on sale, but I got it with the AEMS system or AMS system, which was like it ended up being around $1,350 or $1,400, which is definitely a lot. I get that. So it's an enclosed printer, so you can print certain filaments like carbon fiber nylon. You can print TPU. You can print glass filled nylons in
Right.
in a bit easier than some other printers can. Also, you can print some of that stuff with an Ender if you upgrade it, but this is also extremely fast. So it will print like it's got a very high rate of high speed. Not that you would necessarily want that with a lot of the projects that I'm
Right.
printing, but even with that, it'll do the printing at like faster speeds than the Ender in a safe way. So
Nice.
I printed my plastic off my Draco AK receiver. Normally that would take maybe like 40 hours on a Ender, and it took like 18 on the X1 Carbon. So
40 hours.
yeah, 40-hour print. That's about as long as a print will get though.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you're talking about printing an entire AK receiver.
Yeah.
an AKM. So it's a thick, chunky receiver too, because it's it's 7.62 by 39.
Well,
Big.
Huntgar had a good point. He goes, "Hey, buy once, cry once."
Exactly, and that's been for me. Honestly, I've been kind of wanting to really give this printer like, because I bought it with my own money. I didn't get sent it.
Is it big? Can I print? Because I want to print like Mandalorian helmets and shit. I want to geek out.
Yeah, so
Dude, I want
it's
to print big stuff.
yeah, I get that. It's so I won't grab a gun. I'll grab a mask that I printed because I know guns are no go on the live stream. But I'll grab a mask and I'll just show you what I printed with it to give you an idea.
Look at this, folks. We get to see some cool stuff. Oh, dude, that's dope. That's pretty cool.
So we got the this is the Heat mask from Heat. This is actually like a vintage hockey mask, but I printed this on there. This isn't necessarily this is about as big of a mask as you can print. The Mandalorian might be just a little, but if you print it in multiple pieces, you could do Mandalorian helmet. But the build volume isn't it's not crazy huge, but my guess is they're probably going to come out with one with a bigger printer volume at some point soon. But you can print decent sized stuff for sure. Yeah,
Dude, that's pretty sweet. Joe Morris had a question. Ask PSR Hoffman Super Safety compared to a Fostech Echo 2 on function and reliability. I understand about 3 words of that question.
So if people want to know what the Super Safety is, it's essentially it's a safety which has a cam and a lever, and every time the bolt comes back on an AR, and it resets it puts the gun actually into safe using a cam, and it's a push button safety. And so when the bolt comes back, it brings the lever back, and then when the bolt goes forward, it takes the lever and moves the lever forward and resets the trigger. And it's a very light trigger, so basically it's essentially a forced reset trigger, but it's not even a trigger though, because it uses a mil-spec trigger. But it's a safety, which is like what makes it super cool, is because it's not actually a trigger, it's a safety. So it's not like a forced reset trigger. Now the Fostech Echo 2, I've actually never shot one of those. That's a binary trigger, and I know it's got.
I've shot one of those. They're all right.
Nice. Yeah. I know that one is a little pickier on what it'll work with than the Franklin binary. I know the Franklin binary is in. I've put that in my MP5, my 3D printed MP5, the KF5, and that has functioned awesome in my KF5. Oh hey, Clayco, what up, Clay? He's in the building. One of my favorite channels, by the way. Everyone go sub to Clayco 47.
Clay's the best.
So that trigger, the Fostech one, I've never used, but I know that the Franklin one is a very useful if you're gonna buy a binary trigger, which for all intents and purposes, like there's not any legal kind of gray area there. I know obviously there's an injunction right now with forced reset triggers if you're a member of the National Association for Gun Rights. So so I would say it's kind of hard to compare the Fostech Echo 2. As far as reliability goes, there's people out there selling or making stainless ones, and really those are going to be more durable than anything printed, but you can print them, and I have a printed one that is actually I put about 300 rounds through it, and it's still ticking. So the super safeties, the cool thing is, if you print one, I mean, you can always just, if it breaks, just reprint it. That doesn't cost anything. It costs literally 75 cents, maybe less, probably, in terms of material goes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Clay's great. It's so funny. I saw him at a gun show this weekend, and he was undercover. And you know how Clay goes undercover?
How?
He has an AR around his neck. He walked around with the AR. So at first I saw him, was like, that can't be him. with that AR-15. I got closer. I was like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" He was undercover.
Undercover.
Misty has a comment. Buy ones, cry ones. My problem is that I keep finding buy ones, cry ones items. Yeah, I know.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
C6, bigger hat size for Smash. Thank you. Those are my friends, by the way. I appreciate it. Vanessa Kitty, Brett J's in here. Nice.
What up, everyone?
So here's another question.
Yes.
What is the dumbest thing non-gun related that you 3D printed? Where you're like almost didn't want to show somebody. You're like, oh my God, this is so dumb.
Oh gosh.
Because that's my thing. That's why I never set it up. Because I think I would be printing the most off the wall dumb shit I could find on the internet. Just because it's funny.
Oh man. Not gun related. See, the problem is like 98% of what I 3D print is guns. I don't do a lot of, I mean, see, and then the things that I do print that aren't guns are actually like relatively functional items. Like I keep my like hard drives in these 3D printed bins that are stackable on each other and stuff. So like dumb stuff like, I've printed a lot of dumb guns, like the Glong, which is
that's a classic.
Yeah, classic. It's dumb, but it's amazing at the same time, and a great gun. But when it comes to printing, I'm just trying to think. Like, well, I haven't printed these yet, and this is gun related, but I thought it was really funny. It's like coming up in all sorts of getting sent these memes of there. It's a sight. It's a sight system, so it's like mounts to a Picatinny rail, and it's like the, what do you want to call it? Like the, is it the soy jack meme where the guy's like pointing and he's gonna like, you seen that? But they're pointing at that's the sight, so that's what you use to.
That's
like
pretty funny.
The front is a ring, and the guy pointing is like your point of aim or whatever, like the post.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Or vice versa. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But then there's also there's like the middle finger one. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I mean that's like that's kind of the silly stuff. I wish I'm probably I've printed something that was silly. I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything off the top of my head though. I'm sorry, that's kind of a little disappointing, but.
Well, hey, that was a question that was sent to me to ask. So let me ask you a question personally. So I heard about 3D printed guns, like 4 or 5 years ago, and how dangerous they are and all that, and how unreliable, and they break and they crack. And I think Bushmaster had a carbon fiber lower that would crack sometimes on their ARs. So I never really thought about it a whole lot. And then I saw your channel like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh man, these things actually work.
Yeah, well, I got into it right around the time when things started to really be heating up when it came to, well, yeah, pun intended, heating up with the squirting movement, with the 3D printing movement. A lot of people getting into it. I think when I first got into it, like the Glocks still had the rail system where you needed to like screw the rear rails on the Glock, you know, that the slide rides on, like with like I had like a screw piece, and that's what set the rails in. And like the amount of engineering and creativity that's happened since I got into it, and the advancement of the whole hobby / movement, whatever you want to call it, has been unreal. Like obviously the Liberator happened in like 2013. That was when the real propaganda, like scary ghost gun, you know, this is just 3D printed. And that's when the media took it and just like, you know, did their best to make sure that everyone was very terrified of them. And
yeah, I saw your video you did with the Orca, you did with Hoffman.
Oh, yeah,
that gun looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that gun.
And that thing's dead reliable, cool. Huh?
Yeah. We didn't have any malfunctions during that.
How long does it take to print something like that?
Well, it's a few different parts. So like you're printing the handguard, you're printing the upper receiver, you're printing the lower receiver, and then you're printing the stock. So, I mean, a total, if you're just running one printer that's like a basic Ender 3, it's probably going to take you 4 or 5 days of nonstop printing, you know?
Oh, shucks.
Yep, yep. It takes a little while. With the printer I have with the X1 Carbon, probably more like 2.5 days. You know, it cuts it in half.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Um,
about selling this one. I've never taken it out of the box. Selling this one and then just getting something. I don't want to, like my buddy Flying Rich, shout out to Flying Rich. He was
oh
like,
yeah,
"Oh man, you just got to change this and change that and add this." I'm like, "I don't want to do all that. I want to
yeah,
take it out of the box, set it up, bolt a couple deals, and then just be done. I don't want to change anything on it. I want to like you said, buy once, cry once."
yeah. Totally, totally.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you want to buy once, cry once. I've been very impressed with my Bamboo Lab, and from what I understand, so like the cool thing about it also is that the hot end, which is usually like a, it's usually like the way that it works with the Ender, for example, is the hot end consists of a bunch of different parts, which you kind of have to order individually and kind of assemble. And like if you want to change the nozzle, it's kind of a little bit of a tedious process where you have to get it heated up and unscrew it, and then it can be, if you can get a clog, which can happen on the printer I have too. But the cool thing is that they sell the whole hot end as like one unit. So if you want to change the nozzle size, you just swap out the hot end, and the hot end is just a piece that's just singular together, and that makes it pretty easy when it comes to just like, oh, I want to get a bigger nozzle so that it prints faster. And you know, when you print with a bigger nozzle, you lose a little bit of resolution, but it will print faster, and certain filaments require you to have a little bit bigger nozzle based on, you know, how much fibers they have in them in terms of like if it's a mixed fiber, nylon or whatever. So this makes it super easy because you can just swap it out. It's just very easy. I would say like the way Bamboo Lab. So another thing that's kind of controversial is the some former employees of DJI, the drone company,
Hmm.
are you know, they left and created this company. So they are bringing that DJI level of, you know, I would say it's like very streamlined, and the marketing is pretty slick, and like the way that they've set it up, it's kind of like an Apple product. When you turn it on and you get everything set up, it's like it's very straightforward, and that is
Yeah.
something that's kind of lacking with the cheaper printers that are, and it's still a Chinese printer, just like all the other printers are Chinese, but it's very approachable compared to some of the other ones. And obviously, there's plenty of printers now because everyone's going to have to basically keep up with Bamboo Lab at this point. I would say that's the way the market is right now. The way that the printers are is like everyone's trying to keep up with them because they're the leaders right now. And
Bamboo Lab, huh?
yeah, Bamboo Lab in terms of
Does
like,
PSR have a discount code for Bamboo Lab yet? What's up with that?
I wish. I wonder if Bamboo Lab would love what I'm doing with my printer. I'm not sure if they would, but I know that there are some companies, like for example the filament company Polymaker. They're really awesome, and they haven't shied away from being supportive of all makers, but they haven't completely, you know, they haven't shunned the DIY firearms community like some of the other filament companies or 3D printing companies are. They haven't been terrified of it actually.
You
You know,
have to
they
know your audience too. I mean, you got to think most of the people buying printers are probably goofing around with gun stuff just because
yeah. Well, I mean,
a lot of people I know are doing it now.
yeah. Well, maybe in Texas, probably most of the
Yeah.
people are doing it.
Texas, yeehaw! That's how
Yeah.
we roll.
But I mean, it's the thing is like when you look at the amount of 3D printers that are out there, so many people are printing stuff, and more people every day are printing stuff, whether it's guns or not. And when you see people learning how to, you know, make little things that can improve their lives and just make them in the comfort of their own home, is like a powerful, super empowering thing for someone to experience. And then when you can learn the skills also by getting into the hobby. I've had a lot of people, you know, say, hey, I watch your videos, now I'm like designing stuff, and I'm like, and I learned how to use CAD, and I'm doing Fusion 360 or whatever it is, and now I have this skill that I can actually kind of market myself and potentially get a career out of. So it's like when you
Yeah.
see people getting inspired and learning how to use CAD to design and engineer things, it's super cool. And like that's part of what 3D printing has brought to the equation, is like a sense of you could just make it. And if you learn how to do CAD, you can literally make whatever you want and make it happen in the span of a couple hours in front of you. So
Yeah, I'm cleaning out a section in the front room, and I got my kids a laptop for Christmas, and I want to get them hooked up to it so they can build or do. I guess there's ways they can actually take pictures of toys and kind of 3D model it. I don't know. Let them
yeah.
figure all that stuff out. They'll be geniuses at it, in
I'm
no
sure.
time.
I'm sure the younger generations definitely got their. I mean, they're born with screens in front of their face. Essentially, I'm not saying your kids are, but like more or less, they're all these kids are born in an era where it's like, yeah, like smartphones. They don't remember what it's like before a smartphone.
Yeah, you know what's so funny? I just having this discussion with someone else. Like my kids they get a couple hours a week on their tablets, not a whole lot, right?
Yeah,
And it's no TikTok. Yeah, I don't let them. They have YouTube channels, but I don't let them like go off of YouTube Kids. I keep it very PG. Um, but and I was telling them, I was like, I want other kids to be on their tablets. I want them to have no social skills. That's fine, because when my kids grow up, they're going to run right over them. Jobs are going to be scarce in the future. It's going to be survival of the fittest. I want my kids to have social skills and be able to make friends and be smart kids and intelligent. And if someone wants to put their kids in a electronic babysitter, more power to you.
yeah,
That means it's
yeah,
less competition in the future for my kids.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's just me. It's kind of a selfish thing to do. But I don't really like other people's kids.
Well, it is what it is. Yeah, it's people are the world is changing very fast, and
Yeah.
just gotta keep it, stay on our toes.
So let me ask you another question. What is the number one gun you printed that just blew you away? You're like, wow, this is the best 3D today, right now. This is the best gun you can print. It's that cool.
Man,
You got to
well,
pick
it's
one.
oh man. Well, I think it's got to be. I think it's probably got to be the Plastikov. Honestly, I know 7.62 by 39 has gotten pretty out of hand in terms of how expensive it is.
Yes.
In the past year or so, and that's unfortunate. However, the Plastikov, you can print, a 5.56 Plastikov, 5.45 one, even worse though, arguably. I mean, actually, not arguably, factually insane prices on 5.45 right now. But like a
Yeah.
5.56 AK, but
I think that's the wave of the future is 5.56 AKs.
yeah, because you still get that feeling, that raw feeling of shooting them in a Kalashnikov without the hurt on your wallet. To a
Yeah.
degree. I mean, obviously 5.56 it's not like as cheap as 9 is or anything, but I think the Plastikov probably has to take it, because I've almost got around 1,000 rounds through mine, and
No issues
it's
at all.
no issues. I've had it took a while fitment wise. It took a while for me to get it just right in terms of, because every parts kit's going to be a little different on the Kalashnikov. It's not like the AR. It's like every bolt carrier group might be a little bit different size, and so I had to do quite a bit of breaking it in and like shooting it to get it to like function. But now it's functioning flawlessly. It's been functioning flawlessly for the last, I don't know, 600 rounds or something like that.
Dude, have you ever thought about doing a meltdown video, a literal meltdown video with the AK?
Oh
That would
man,
be, in the truest sense of the words, a real meltdown video. That'd be pretty sweet.
it would totally, yeah, it would. I think it would be fun to do that with like one that was printed in nylon, because PLA, I can tell you that if you do more than 3 consecutive 30 round mag dumps on the PLA one, you'll start to get
Gnarly.
it. Yeah, and it'll probably start malfunctioning. The thing is, with a lot of 3D printed guns, if you print them properly, there'll always be signs. If you're pushing it too hard and it's not gonna work, it will give you signs beforehand. And generally speaking, unless you're doing like stuff with like 37 millimeter, I've seen some rough results from that, because people, they're testing designs or whatever. Luckily, no one's lost any limbs or fingers,
Yeah.
but usually it'll give you some warning signs. Like I've had Glock frames crack for whatever reason, whether the printing quality wasn't great or if something like the spring rate on the recoil spring sometimes, like the weight of the slide, it was a 17L, so or the weight of the, I had tungsten weights in one time, but it just cracked, and then I realized like, oh, I looked down and I was like, oh, there's a crack there developing. Like it never just like blew up, you know. I mean, if you're working with metal, generally, like if you're working with metals, like the components of a Glock or whatever, obviously it's not made out of plastic. The barrel isn't made out of plastic. Although Ivan, the creator of the Plastikoff, was working for a while on a DIY Glock slide, which is pretty cool, using like plates of metal combined with PLA in the form of a Glock slide to basically make your own slide, which would be crazy and cool. But he's
Right.
still, I think, still figuring that one out. That's a tough one because it's, you know, it's pretty hardcore heavy steel that you're working with. So yeah, but I would probably choose the Plastikoff just because
It's pretty cool.
it's pretty cool. And AKs, I've never built a normal AK, and I know there's a tradition of building AKs, particularly here in this country, like of, you know, homemade AKs and taking a flat and bending the flat or whatever. But that's a pretty involved process, and you need some tooling, and you need to be able to press the barrel,
The
and
rivets.
yeah, the rivets and all of that stuff, which I actually think I'm gonna learn how to do that coming up here. Rifle Dynamics offered to teach me that, so I think that's a really cool thing to learn. But it takes some skill and takes some tooling that not everyone has. But this is a completely like no tooling needed, no crazy tooling needed, no rivets design where like just if you get a parts kit that's got a Headspace parts kit, you don't need any tooling. You print the receiver, you test fit the rails, you put it in the components, you install the trigger in the trigger. It's like basically a little trigger pocket that you stick into it. I would show you, but not on YouTube, obviously. And you put the trunnion in, and the trunnion is held with a few different screws. And I'm telling you, I mean, people, when I say that I've printed an AKM receiver, out of plastic, they laugh, or they say like, you know, well, like, did it blow up or whatever? And I get that, because it's like, it's a strange thing for AK people to think
It's
about.
a big ask for 7.62 by 3.9. When you see that round, you're like, that's had to have blown it to shit.
Yeah, but the you know, and so it just makes it super accessible for really anyone to be able to, who doesn't have the knowledge or tools to make a normal AK with rivets and steel and all that stuff, to make an AK, which is just super awesome. And not only that, but it also has a Picatinny rail on the top of the receiver that is, you know, it's held zero. I put almost 1,000 rounds through it. So that's different than a normal AK receiver. That makes it way more useful, because you can put an optic on there, just throw an optic on there. So it's that design is really awesome, and that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, TN Tactical said, PSR, is your music copyright free? I'm really digging the Bob Ross one you did.
Oh, thank you, TN Tactical. Copyright free. Well, so some of the music I put out is just in my videos. I am going to be coming out with a like an album of all my jams. Hopefully by the end of the first quarter of this year. Hopefully, maybe beginning mid second quarter. But the songs that I put out that are on Spotify, like the HK Slap and Nods and the Glong, those are essentially put out by my own little independent record label. And so those aren't copyright free, but people can feel free to use them. But it's what's going to happen is you're probably going to get a notice if you use it on YouTube, like any other song, you know, that's
Right.
part of like that's been released. You're going to get a notice saying that, like, you know, we found copyrighted material, therefore, you know,
You got to
Yeah.
split your profits now with
Yes, with me.
PSR.
So hey, it'll be like supporting me.
So yes, please use all of his music.
Yeah, use the music, spread the music.
So-
I always love that.
Rumor has it there is a Gatling gun print that's going to drop in a couple days. Have you heard about that one?
I did. I was actually looking at that on Twitter. Someone released, or it was on Instagram or
It's
Twitter.
supposed to come out on the 24th.
Yeah, it looked crazy. Let me see. The account that it was on was
Someone had sent that to me too. Flying Rich sent that to me.
yeah.
Takes
let me
6
see.
AR barrels and some finagling, but man,
Yeah, so it's called the account is called Nopel, Nopel, and
Yeah.
it's the M1337 open test / beta release trailer, and that it looks insane. And I was talking with a buddy of mine who has an SOT, and he wants to try to figure out a way to motorize it, which would be basically minigun, printed minigun, reality.
that's
Maybe
wild.
happening. Who knows? So
Well, I was down
that'd
at
be
Radical
cool.
Firearms, and I was in their room, and they have a 3D printed minigun, electric.
That's insane, dude. The RD guys.
I'll
are
take a picture and send it to you, but I go,
Is
is
that
that
Radical
real?
Design? Because they have their
There's a lot of metal
sister-
to it, but they
Yeah,
printed a lot of that stuff.
yeah. The Radical Design guys. So RD USA is like the sister company to Radical Firearms, and they engineer belt fed suppressors, and I'm sure
Yeah.
they have that. I'm sure that's them. So shouts out to those dudes. They're making some really cool shit, and I think they actually may send me one of their cans to test and do a review on. So shouts out to them. They're doing cool shit.
Yeah, I walked over there and I go, what is this? And their printers are like $1 million, right? I
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
what is this big thing? What's it doing? It's printing a suppressor.
Yeah,
Like, no
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah.
And I think they have 3 of them now.
yeah,
It's pretty cool.
yeah. That shit is unreal. It's yeah, one of the ones that they're gonna send me is a printed can, and it's got like flow through technology, so you don't get as gassed up when you're shooting.
Oh,
it,
that's
which
cool.
It's super cool. Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love where the technology's going. I would love to see the ability to make metal prints in your home, but that's probably going to be a while before that becomes affordable.
Well, I mean, you got $1 million
possible.
for one of those monster machines. Sure.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
quick. Yeah, my father gave me a small amount of money for an investment of $1 million to get started. As someone once
Hey,
said.
man. Honestly, we all went through, me on a much smaller scale. I got one strike, and we all went through the gun tuber apocalypse like last year, and it was really scary because I was just starting out. I don't have anybody at YouTube that can fight for me.
Yeah.
I don't have 500,000 subs, so I don't have like a rep or anything like that. And
Yeah, I still don't
everyone-
either. I don't
everyone
have a
was
YouTube
shitting
rep
bricks.
either.
Everyone
Yeah,
was
dude.
scared.
That's why I've had to delete all my content. Basically deleted 95% of my content. Everyone, yeah. Kit Badger got removed. Thank God he got his channel back. But
It was
yeah, dude.
scary.
Yeah, those are dark times, man. I'm hoping that never happens again. But if I had to bet on it, I'd probably say it will. Unfortunately.
It was wild, man, because I'm just sitting back going, damn, did I have anything? And I was like, all right. So I just deleted like 3 or 4 vids where I had one full auto, I deleted it, and I had one where I was, changing mags a whole bunch. And remember, they were freaking out if you were just inserting mags, and I was like,
I know.
jeez.
Yeah, dude. That got dark, dude. Got
Yeah,
dark.
I was sitting there going, well, there goes my $12 a month income.
Yeah. Wow. Clayco says, I know PSR to delete loads of videos. I still have maybe 50 that were totally lost. Yeah, dude. It's messed
Yeah.
up. It's sad. Yeah, it was so hard. The problem was like, and I was talking about this with Corey, my buddy, 3D Arms, who came to shoot with me this past week, and we were talking about it. It's just like, if they would just tell us, like, even if they just said, hey, this is the point in the video that got you the strike, right? Like,
They won't.
From 114 to 127 in your video, you did this, or even they wouldn't even have to explain what they did. It would just be sweet if they just said, like, that time period is what caused the violation. but they won't do that. And like that's the
It's
most frustrating
vague.
thing is it's super vague, super ambiguous, hard to tell what is causing this violation to happen. And if you don't know what's causing it to happen, and you just get a video removed, and you're like, wait, I didn't do anything in that. Like, what was it? But it gives them the power to just basically, just get rid of you if they want to get rid of you. And that's kind of the unfortunate case with YouTube,
So how many strikes do you have active on your channel now?
Believe it or not, drop it like it's Scott, dude. Oh wow, I saw one video of his a while ago. Sorry, my ADHD brain is like I looked at the chat. I watched Drop It Like It's Scott. What up, dude? I have 0 strikes right now. Actually, believe it or not, they all expired. Inshallah, I don't get any more. And I also got
Knock on wood.
no warnings anymore. I went and took the re-education program. They they sent me to bad pee slap school, and I went and actually took the course. They actually have you seen this?
No.
So have you ever you've gotten a strike, right?
Yeah.
So you got a warning though before you got a strike, right?
Mm-hmm. It's still there.
Okay, so you can get rid of that warning if you want. The YouTube, at least they provided me, if you go into like the creator homepage, you go to your warning, you can actually take a basically like a small, like it's like a, I don't know, 10 question thing, and they basically, you take this test, and if you get the test right, which is if you get one wrong, which I actually got one wrong because like it was about 3D printed guns, believe it or not, like the question, and I was like, oh, that's got to be banned. And then they're like, no, it's actually not banned. And I was like, fuck you. You totally got rid of my fucking videos for doing it. So what the fuck? So it
That's
was
funny.
Yeah. So they've
You're like, I got
basically-
this one easy.
Yeah. So I've taken the re-education YouTube re-education program, and I've been cleansed, and now I don't have any more warnings or strikes. So effectively, the reason why I did that was I wanted to give myself as many chances as possible to fuck up, even though I've been thankfully like somehow not tripping the strike algorithm as of late. But they give you a warning, right? And then they give you 2 strikes before you get a 3rd strike, and that's when they remove your channel eternally from YouTube, and then that's when they remove you. A lot of people don't understand that. Obviously there's some people that have avoided it or they call it avoiding a ban or whatever. But when YouTube removes you from YouTube as a creator, they remove you, the person, as a creator, not you, the channel. So if they find out that you've started a new channel, they will instantly remove that channel. I could start a like super kid friendly like Sunday knitting channel, and if they figured out that that was PSR, that's that guy that used to do the videos 3D printing guns in a mask, and that we removed, they figure that out. Even if I'm making the most sweet, innocent, wholesome content, which I think my content is very wholesome, but even if I was doing something extremely wholesome, promoting whatever agenda they love, if they found out, they essentially immediately remove you, and that's avoiding a ban. And so you're banned for life from YouTube if you get banned, which is that's why I was shitting bricks, because I was like, I have other YouTube accounts.
Pretty close.
And yeah, it's pretty close there for a sec. So I just wanted to show them, guys, please don't step on me and squash me and ruin me. I want to have my channel, so I'll just remove all of the videos and start over.
Drop It Like It's Scott says, if you're ever in Orlando, please drop it in. He has a range now in his backyard.
Hell yeah.
PSR, does the beginning of your videos where you flip YouTube off help? No, that's a way he's waving.
Where I fluff YouTube, where I give them a bunch of really sweet compliments. I mean, I guess I maybe, because I started doing it, and I don't have any. Okay, knock on wood. have not gotten any strikes or warnings since then. So, but I have plenty of videos that don't get monetized, no matter how many times I upload them. But yeah, butt naked yoga is perfectly accepted on YouTube.
Oh
A
no,
lot
no,
of
no.
things.
Have you seen the videos where it's you have to guess D or D?
Oh, I don't even want to know what that is.
And well, it's two gentlemen, and you have to guess what is going in the rear. Is it a D or the real D? It's on YouTube, bro.
Super family fun stuff. But
It's
to be fair, okay, the thing is, to be fair, I believe none of that shit should get censored, and it should just be. I think people should just be allowed to fucking post shit on YouTube, and if it's like adult content that has to do with sex, like we put the age restriction on it or whatever, you know?
yeah, exactly. I don't believe in censorship like that, but
Yeah,
don't
but
mess with guns.
yeah, I know, but it's like, yeah. So if I had to choose, I would just be like, don't censor any of it. Fucking let people post what they want. It's the fucking internet. But yeah, but then when they do censor certain things and then don't censor other things, or allow certain
Yeah.
things to be on the platform and don't allow other things that arguably could be more harmful than other things.
And,
It
and like
just
you
gets
said
really hard.
before, they're so fucking vague because they'll tell you, "Oh, well, you have yell it out." Why? Oh, it's because you're talking about or you're help advertise a gun company.
Yeah,
Okay, that's every single channel. If you just mention Ruger, okay,
yeah.
it's
Well,
there. It's
yeah.
ridiculous, man.
Well, since I started doing ads for Adam and Eve, they haven't touched me. So maybe we'll just keep doing sex toy ads, and that's how we get monetized on
All
YouTube.
right, so what was the thinking behind the dildo suppressor? That's the
Uh,
only video I didn't want to. I couldn't show my son. I was like, no, maybe next year. He
well,
he thinks he thinks you're hilarious, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's funny, but and then he laughs at
yeah.
stuff he's not supposed to know. I'm like, why are you laughing at that? You're not supposed to know about
Oh
that.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude.
No, it's cool. It's
Well, tell
funny.
him I say what's up, and I'm glad. I'm stoked that he enjoys the humor and the content.
Yeah, the pink Glock got him. He thinks that's the funniest video ever. He watched it. Like out of your 9 million views on the pink Glock, he's probably got 30 of them. I don't
Awesome.
get it. It's a catchy tune, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the songs I'm gonna put on the album too. Finally I'm gonna release that song, even though it's had its moment and it's faded away, but I'll release it for people to
It's
listen to on
catchy though.
Spotify.
Something about that beat is super catchy.
Oh man. Oh yeah, so actually the way that video came together, the 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 dildo on the front of the rifle one. No, it wasn't a dildo. It was actually it was a flashlight, which very different because one is an insertion thing and the other is a receiving thing. That's all
True.
we'll say. But
True.
the one actually technically does have baffles in it. But don't ask me how I know that. But they actually reached out and they said, hey, like through this agency that I knew, that actually was not even a gun thing, not even a gun agency. They were like, hey, they knew about my channel and they were like, hey, I know this is like kind of maybe an odd ask, but like, would you want to run an ad for Adam and Eve? And I was like, oh man, I don't know. How are people gonna view that? Like, if I just do a gun video and like in the middle of the gun video, I'm just like, this video is sponsored by Adam and Eve or whatever. Because obviously people have seen that, baffled for the rifle's pleasure. Exactly. So like people see that all the time on YouTube. There's lots of creators that have Adam and Eve as a sponsor, right? So I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then I was like, yeah, but if I do that, like, I feel like it's like I have to integrate it into the content somehow because like it's just going to be a little out of left field. Obviously, maybe people will, people see my channel and I'm silly and do goofy stuff sometimes. Some people accuse me of doing gay stuff sometimes, but I think that's just because they're
Yeah.
closeted gays who can't handle a man.
Well,
with
they
his
say
shirt
everyone's
off.
a little gay. It's a little gay.
Everyone's a little bit, yeah.
Little
Everyone's a
gay.
little bit gay,
Tiny bit
exactly.
gay.
So I was like, okay, well, I gotta make a video with the like, with the Adam and Eve stuff. Like that naturally seems like it makes sense, and I'm always you know, as a creator on YouTube, especially with videos that get demonetized, which, shocker, that video didn't get monetized. It helps to have, it really helps to have sponsors. So I know some people, you know, don't go that route. I personally have gone that route because it's been very helpful to me making the content and being able to bring more content to people. And so I was like, yeah, you know what, we'll do that. We'll do the Adam and Eve video, but we're gonna we're gonna do it in a way that no one else has done it. And
It's definitely original.
I couldn't find a video that did that. So I was like, and I thought it was kind of funny because there was a letter sent into the ATF with a fleshlight as a brace, as a stock, asking the ATF if they had an opinion on it. Except the fleshlight like was set up so that it actually was reversed, so that the buffer tube wasn't going into the hole. The hole was facing out, and you had to guess where that hole would be, you know, being used. And anyway, I thought, okay, this would be a funny video. So that's how it started. And then when the first one did well and people got a kick out of it, they reached out again and they're like, hey, would you be interested in doing another one? And I was like, okay, well, let's try it. Let's do it with 22.
I wonder if they would. I wonder if like sex lube would work on a bolt carrier group. JC9 had that question. That would be a.
You know, I think
Inquiring
a
minds want to know.
lot of it water based. So my guess would be not so well, you know. But I actually, maybe that'll be the next video I do.
It's smoking, folks. Have you ever smoked after sex? Friction does
There
it.
you go. There you go. Yeah,
that'd
it
be
would be
funny.
interesting to take a completely dry bolt carrier group, completely dry gun, and just douse it with the KY jelly and see how it goes.
Oh, the slow motion splatter would be worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. We get
No
some,
one can use that idea now. It's already his. No copy.
Yeah, yeah.
Rich, I don't want to see you out there with sex lube on your bolt carrier group.
Oh man.
Yeah,
good
so-
times.
You know, it's funny. So a lot of your videos, man, you know, I watch them and there's so many parts where it could just be kind of a ho-hum video. Like the dildo, if it had done half-ass, would have been kind of a shitty video. But it's great. I mean, you really put a lot of work into it. The Bob Ross one, you know, both the ones, the pistol and the rifle, that could have been ho-hum, but it's the stuff you put in it and around your videos. Your production value is really high, like the slow motion skipping. There's no reason for that to be in the video, but it works and it adds a lot to it.
Yeah.
And it's
thank
funny.
you.
It's funny. I tell everybody, it's like, this guy's production value is really good.
I really appreciate that, man.
So you have a high production value. So have you done like a lot of camera work growing up?
Yeah. So I kind of have always been filming myself in front of the camera since I was a kid.
Any photography stuff, or is it just video?
Oh yeah, lots of photography stuff. Really into photography. I was doing a lot of. I was kind of like I was like a DP, like director of photography for a while before I was doing any of this stuff. So
knew
like a
it.
cinematographer, I did a lot of music videos, you know, behind the camera, and I also was fairly musical growing up. Played violin, played the drums, and so and then
No
I got
shit.
yeah. So I
I wouldn't
grew
have
up-
pegged you for a violin.
yeah. I started off. That was the first instrument I played. I started when I was 8, I think, and then, you know, I kind of got away from it in high school when I started playing a lot of sports. That kind of became the focus. But I was still playing drums in high school, and I started making music on the computer with Fruity Loops, and got into that. And then that's still the program I use today to make songs and make you know, produce music and stuff. So I was always really into music, really into photography and videography and filming. And I was always like, I was kind of a theater kid, I guess. I did like theater camps and shit like that. So I've always been, you know, I've always been comfortable in performing, and so that's kind of all those skills kind of come together into this this YouTube channel, which is really, honestly, just makes me so happy that I've been able to like entertain people and that people enjoy it. You know.
Yeah, it's great stuff. But I tell everyone, if you have kids, stage crew, drama, speech class, or drama and speech class especially, that will help build, like, being able to speak in front of a group of people is invaluable.
Oh yeah,
And it's a skill that it's just a great skill to have, you know.
definitely, definitely, yeah. Oh man, oh Clay, yeah, Fruity Loops, dude. You know what's funny? The story of how Fruity Loops started, and to
Mm-mm.
bring us back into dildos and flashlights. Rumor has it that Fruity Loops was created by a guy who was doing soundtracks for porn in the late 90s, and he like needed a way to sequence the beats because they were all very simple basic beats like you know, like
Yeah, it was
background music.
terrible.
So he found a way to sequence them by creating this program, and he put like the little sequencer with the different tracks on the this program, and he called it Fruity Loops. And that's the rumor has it that that's how Fruity Loops was made, and now Fruity Loops is like one of the most popular music DAWs. They call them DAWs, DAWs, out there, especially for making like trap shit. Like all of the big rap producers pretty much use Fruity Loops, and so
That's wild.
that's how it was started. But I started making beats on Fruity Loops. I think FL Studio 5 is what I had, like a pirated version of it. Now I own it. And the cool thing about Fruity Loops is they're still like a, if you bought Fruity Loops in 2003, you still are have, you know, access to the latest download version for, you know, for what you bought it for in 2003. You only have to pay for it once, whereas every other stupid, you know, service now, this every other software has gone to like subscriptions, you know, where you have to
Yeah.
pay monthly, you know, like Premiere, for example, Premiere Pro, you got to pay Adobe Creative Cloud. And like, it's all, now you don't own anything except you own Fruity Loops. So shouts out to Fruity Loops. Yeah, little side note there
That's
about them.
cool. That's a cool story. That's why I use DaVinci Resolve. I bought it a couple years ago, and it's free lifetime updates. That's it.
Yeah.
And DaVinci
Yeah.
Resolve does more than I could probably ever do.
Yeah. That's also a great one. I got to try that, that NLE
And it's
because,
free. Or
yeah,
the
yeah,
free version. I know a lot of content people that just use the free version, and
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
watermark or any of that stuff.
No, no, no. Yeah.
And
It's
after I
a,
bought it, I was like, I didn't really notice the free stuff because I don't know how to use a lot of that stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, it's a great option for video editing for sure.
yeah,
They offer some things that Premiere Pro doesn't have, like the anamorphic settings on Blackmagic. Premiere doesn't have those presets like they do, but yeah, it's getting into a whole other tism bit about anamorphic, which I could talk for a while about. But
look at that. We're all learning today, folks. I hope you have your pens out.
yeah, check out anamorphic lenses if you're into how like cinematic films are made, like with
Yeah,
the
yeah. You had mentioned DJI, and I just got their the new one,
Oh, nice. That's the Osmo
Pocket
uh,
3.
Pocket. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice.
This thing is
Those are perfect
sweet.
for like getting
Auto
some.
tracking. It's perfect for solo content creators.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what's cool is it'll auto track and it'll put you like in the lower. It'll put you wherever in the frame you want. So if you want the gun to be in the frame more, you can circle your head and kind of move it around, and it'll keep you in that same spot. Pretty freaking
Nice.
cool.
So do you put that on a tripod and then like if
Yeah, I
you're
used it
moving
for the
around?
first time today on the
Nice,
tripod. I
nice,
took it.
nice.
I got it a day before SHOT Show, and I goofed around with it a little bit at SHOT, and man, the video is
Is it pretty good?
it's pretty good.
Damn.
I usually just use. I'm not too technical,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's
yeah.
frustrating when you film by yourself. I remember watching you in one of your videos. You were trying to slow mo, and you were trying to shoot, push, start, stop, and doing all this stuff. It's a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, yeah. Honestly, it's it might ruin it for some people if they know this, but like most of the time when I'm by myself at the range filming the videos, I'm like kind of grumpy. Like it's a lot of work. But as soon as I press record, it's like back to the personality. Like and I'm like back to high spirits. But like for example, like the suppressor videos with the dildo and the Adam and Eve shit. I was pissed off at both those days. I was like not having a great day. Like, things will happen where you don't get the shot in focus, and you just, oh god, this like, and then and then I'm also like that when I create a lot. Sometimes I get a little bitchy, like I get a little pissy.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
that's part of
normal.
my process, It's part of my process how I make stuff turn out good. Is if I'm a little pissy, but like for example, 3D Arms and I made 2 videos, and that was awesome because it's always nice to have someone to bounce humor off of, So one
Hold
of
the
my
camera, a
yeah,
moving shot, something.
exactly. So one of my goals actually for this calendar year for PSR for the channel is to find someone that can film, and at the very least film, and potentially find someone to edit. And so I'll need to hire them. So I'm working on trying to secure some extra funds, through whether it's just through ads or whatever that I have on the channel, or other avenues to be able to hire someone to be my camera person slash editor, because that would take so much
Are you
of the burden
willing?
off of me.
Are you willing to let go of the editing?
The editing is this is my baby. So
Because I don't know. That's tough, man.
I know it is. So it'd be one of those things where I'd have to kind of do a probationary period with whoever's doing it and see what they can do, see if they're up to my. I don't mean to be super pretentious when I say that, but like, well, just do it my style, whether my style is good or bad, whatever. Like, the main thing is to be able to replicate the way I edit, the way that I think when I edit. And if we can do that, if I can find someone that's close to it at the beginning, that's somewhat close, even if they're not there and they're somewhat close, and they're willing to take feedback, like that would be,
Tough skin, thick skin.
yeah, thick skin. Well, if they can take feedback and then improve, and I see improvement in like the first few edits that they do, then I'm willing to just say, okay, let's do this, because it's yeah, it's a very important part. The editing is arguably the most important task when it comes to making a video, good or not, because you could have all the. If you looked at the footage that I shoot raw of the channel, it's not. It's just whatever, But the editing, the color
Editing is
correction,
what tells the story.
yeah, exactly. Clay
Clay
says,
is like,
question: do you have a
yeah.
dedicated person that comes out to help you film? No, it's just it's me all on tripods, dude. It's just me by myself, all on tripods.
Me and Clay joke sometimes. His wife helps him, and my wife helps me. She kind of
Nice.
helps me. She tries, but she's
Nice.
short, so all my footage is angled. No, I'm kidding. But man, it's frustrating, and I try not to be an asshole to her,
Yeah.
but it's hard. That's why I just go by myself now.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, man, this tracking thing,
Game
game
changer.
changer,
Damn. Well, I
dude.
think like even if if I mean if I put that on a tripod for sure, but also I was thinking like if I do find a camera person, um, and they have one of those, we could do some really cool action shots where I'm running and gunning,
Yeah,
because it'll stay still. Because I actually had one of those. I think it was one of the older versions at Finished Brutality. Kit Badger, Ivan from Kit Badger, he had an Osmo, and I was tracking him with it, and it got some pretty good shots. So,
yeah, it's really kind of cool.
yeah,
It's another thing that can do way more than I know how. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I'm still cutting my teeth on this stuff.
yeah. Well, everyone's at a different place in their
All right,
learning.
so the HK slap, that's probably that's a fan favorite, man. Everyone likes the HK slap. How'd that come about? Were you just like, you know what, fuck it, let's just do a mix one day?
Well, I just was doing the video on the KF5, the 3D printed MP5, and I just thought it would be really fun to make a song. And I just got inspired to make a song. I was actually kind of sick. I was kind of sick. I had a pretty bad like sore throat and like stuffed up, and I don't know. I was just bored, and it's like, yeah, I guess we'll make a song. And yeah, because it's something I've been doing for a while. I've been making music for a while, so I was like, makes sense to make a song about this. And the way I do it is I don't, and this is the same thing with my videos too. I think it's kind of apparent. It makes for more editing, but I just freestyle everything. I don't have. Rarely do I even make notes. Sometimes I will make notes if it's a long video. I'm doing a lot of talking, like I'm
Yeah.
filming it here in the studio, like about a particular gun, and I've got to like remember all the different things to say. But for the most part, it's still just off the dome, and that's the same way.
You
that I
didn't.
make
So you didn't
songs.
have that song before you got to the range. You're just here and you're like, you know what? Let's just do a song.
Oh no! I recorded the song before I filmed the music video for sure. For
Dude,
sure.
I was gonna say because that's crazy.
No. So I made the beat, and then after I made the beat, I was like, okay, this could work. And then I went through and just started recording line by line, and then I was like, oh, that would be a fun line to say. Like, that's how it'll be. Like, do the HK slap slap slap, and that's just kind of I can't even really explain how I come up with it. It just comes into my head, and it's just making it like bar by bar and structuring the song as part of being a music producer is not just making the beat, but also structuring the song in a way that the performer, well, in this case, the performer is me, but I've produced songs for other artists too, where the performer can deliver their best performance with the production you make. So that's
Dude,
kinda
it's
how I
working
handle
though, man. It's a great channel. Everyone, like, there's a few people out there that I watch pretty consistently. Like, every time Gun Drummer does something new, I'm like, I watch his stuff. Nate's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Clay, man, I love Clay's stuff. His channel's growing leaps and bounds. Your channel's growing. But I don't know. I mean, so when you do YouTube, you don't really watch a lot of YouTube. And I don't
The
want to watch a lot of YouTube.
GunTubers?
But
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
catch if your video pops up, I'll watch it immediately because you're usually really funny.
Thank you, man. Oh, it makes me
And
really.
we all need to
stoked.
laugh. We all need to laugh.
Yeah, we all need to laugh. See, that's the thing. It's like there's definitely time and a place for serious stuff and like guns about training and like Lucas Bakken videos. And Garantham's gotten a lot more funny and humorous in his recent videos and or the last couple years. But there's obviously all sorts of applications for being serious on YouTube with guns. I get it, but I definitely don't take that route. But I try to deliver the right amount of useful information and maybe some like inspiration and maybe some like, wow, this is cool, kind of with the humor, because like it can't all be stupid and silly.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's find the balance. Yeah.
Hunt Gar music videos are amazing. Rich is like, I watched PSR videos ASAP. Clay's like,
Thanks,
I think all I
Rich.
do is watch YouTube.
Dude, I'm with Clay. I watch a lot of YouTube.
I don't watch
a lot
gun
of-
YouTube though. I watch not gun YouTube.
Yeah, I honestly the gun video, the gun tubers that I watch consistently. I watch Clay consistently. I watch I watch a lot of Kit Badger stuff because I find his videos kind of calming and relaxing. His voice and I watch Mishako, dude. Mishako's videos that's such the most underrated channel for like gun autism and like history. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
He's blind.
Mishako is goated on a level that most people don't understand. Like, I've gotten so much knowledge and just like I'll just sit down, I'll just put some Mishako on in the background, and it's just like, dude, it's just I don't understand how he doesn't have 100,000 yet. Like, if you're not subscribed to Mishako at this point, what are you doing?
Clay turned me on to him. Clay
Dude.
told me to check him out, and I'm like, man, that dude really knows his stuff.
Yes, dude.
Total
He's-
historian.
He's awesome. So like, yeah, I feel like if Forgotten Weapons can succeed, Mishako can succeed. I think it's maybe because of just the style that Mishako does. He does these really long and like very
You know what it is? It's
detailed
not
videos.
in your face, 5 second.
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
You know, the
It's-
generation now is
Yeah, I mean I'm with you on that. It's got to be quick and in your face. But yeah, for people that are willing to sit down and have something on in the background, or if I'm like working on building a gun, I'll put some Mishako on in the background, and it's just like it's awesome. So yeah, shouts out to Mishako. I like comment on his channel like a fangirl. I would actually legit fangirl if I met Mishako. Like all these other gun tubers, much respect, but like I'm gonna like go crazy fangirl if I ever meet Mishako. So I hope so one day.
yeah.
That'd
I
be
did
cool.
that at the Gundies once. It's
Oh,
like
really? He was at not Mishako.
not Mishako, but
Okay.
I fanboyed out a little bit. with John Lovell. I was like, oh my god, it's John Lovell.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
giggled a little bit. And I was like, oh man, fucking grow up.
It's
So
okay.
your print shift repeat channel, I mean that. I mean, you got some really great videos over there. If you guys don't know, he actually has. It's kind of like a just motorcycle channel.
Yeah, well, I've been unfortunately it's I've been so busy with the main PSR channel lately, at least, that I've neglected print shift repeat. Unfortunately, it's not going away. I've just been really consumed with this stuff, and with the way it's been, I hope that like I can part of getting this other person involved maybe in the creation of the content with me, with the editing and the filming, is hopefully that'll free up a little bit more time for me to focus on other stuff like the print shift repeat channel, which I want to do motorcycle and stuff on there, but I also want to do car stuff because I love cars. I'm really into cars, and like that would be really really great if I could put a little bit more time into that. So that's another goal of mine for this year, is to put more print shift repeat content out there. So I actually have I've gotten I've got quite a few bikes at this point, and I've got some content filmed on them that I haven't edited yet. Like last October I went to the pig roast at New York Safety Track. It's a closed track, like a track day situation, but it was like a weekend, and it was just so much fun. I rode my little Yamaha R3 around on the track where I used to frequent that track a lot. But that's the other passion, is like track day riding for motorcycles. And I got a really crazy deal on a no title 2010 Ducati Street Fighter, and it's like no title. So
What
I
does no title mean?
no
Stolen?
title. No, it doesn't always mean stolen. I checked the VIN. It wasn't stolen. This guy said the previous owner had just lost it,
So
and
it's not streetable though, right? Because you can't put it. It's not title.
you can get a bonded title, and that's what I did with my Pajero Mini, my little K truck that I bought, which I've since sold, but I did make some content on it, and I posted that to not only the backup channel but also the main channel when I made it, and so I did that process and got the bonded title because it's like basically it's a Japanese market vehicle that wasn't made for the US. It was made for Japan, but since it's 25 years past its creation, or its manufacture date, you can import it. And so,
Oh yeah, wait till you see all the R34s coming over.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's
So
gonna
you
be
know,
flooded.
you know about it. Yeah. So I had gone through the process of doing the bonded title there, and with that vehicle. And so I said, oh, it's not too hard to do it. So I was able to get a bonded title for the Ducati. I haven't registered yet. I haven't insured it yet. So I'm still in the process of doing all that. But life is, a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, everyone's got stuff going on. So the Ducati's been sitting in my garage. I did take it out. It is fucking terrifying. It's the 1098 Street Fighter with no electronics. It's like basically right before Ducati switched over to doing traction control and wheelie control and all that stuff. They started implementing that in next generation Street Fighter. This
Pretty
has
fast.
none of that shit, and God, it's terrifying. Power wheelies. Like, I basically decided after riding the Ducati, like, I think I'm gonna try to like fix it up a little bit, like get the title for it and then sell it, because I got it for stupid cheap. Sell it, and then I think I'm gonna be pretty much just like track only when it comes to motorcycles. So I love bikes, but like also I just want to go fast, and like not doing it on the street is just a little stupid. So I like the controlled speed of being on the racetrack with other motorcycles, not having guardrails, cars, telephone poles that could
Trucks.
potentially, yeah, trucks, yeah, exactly, F350s,
Dude,
and
Houston is nuts, man. I can't
oh
believe
yeah,
people ride bikes here. And if you go to the north part, you can go into hill country pretty quick, but downtown, suicidal.
yeah,
But
yeah, it's
Smash Time, I started out as a car channel for the first couple
nice.
months, and then nobody watched those videos.
It's such a flooded market too. That I mean, it's just this content. I mean, same with guns, but even more so with cars.
Yeah,
But yeah, I saw your comment, Clay. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I want to do all the things. I want to make as much content as possible because I love making content. I love putting media content out for people to be entertained by, to
right.
engage with. It's like my absolute passion in life, and like putting out my creations for the world to see. It's just, yeah, time is insane.
You just need an editor, bro. You
Yeah,
see the editor.
if I have an editor, I mean, literally, I was doing before we got on. I was editing, and I've been editing for the last 2 days. So it's like nonstop. You know, edit the next video. Got to plan it in advance. The next video, the next video. Oh, we got So it's just like it's nonstop. So if I can get an editor, man, dude, I think when you take the concept of time is money, I think the price of an editor, whatever that ends up being, like it will be totally worth it because I will have so much more time on my hands to focus on other stuff and making other stuff and making more music too. Because like I have a lot of music and I want to put out more music for everyone to enjoy. So hopefully all that
No,
stuff
it's good. It's
will help.
catchy, man. The stuff is really catchy. Like some of those beats are pretty great. Like the Pink Glock one, man. I've watched that 10 times. Just think it's funny.
Oh
It's
man,
a
that makes me
good,
happy, man.
and I've never seen a channel blow up from one video like that. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, well,
How
that's
many
crazy.
subscribers did you get from that one video?
Well, that's on my backup channel. That's on Print Shift Repeat.
I
That
know
video.
how many.
I mean,
did you-
I have got 120 something thousand now on there, and I don't post on there really at all. And the Print Shift Repeat videos get like 4,000 views because no one's there for the automotive content. They're just there for the Pink Glock, and they're like hoping that they get more Pink Glock content. So like, I kind of feel bad for just taking all those people that subscribed and like being like psych, like, but they could just follow my main channel. That's the thing. It's like probably most of them follow the Print
Yeah.
Shoot Repeat. So it's like it is what it is. Those
Here
videos
I
do get a
am.
lot.
Here, hopefully, it's my birthday next week, and I want to get 25,000 subscribers by next week, and I'm like 120 away.
Damn. Well, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this, subscribe to Smash Time right now.
That's gonna be the intro to my next two videos right there.
If you're not subscribed to Smash Time, what are you doing? Jeez. Put it in there.
Dude, so what's next? What's on the horizon? What's the next video that's going to drop? What's the next big project? What's the scoop?
So I mean, I've got a lot of stuff in the works. There's a lot of AK content coming this year. I've got a lot of AK content, but the Plastikov's coming, the Draco Plastikov. I'm going to do the V2 Plastikov, which is actually like the legacy version, or the V3, which is the legacy version of the Plastikov. I want to compare the two and kind of show the differences, so I'm going to be building one of those as well. I've got a Romanian AKM kit that I'm going to throw in there. We've got the Super Safe MP5, which I think will be a pretty fun, and I think people are going to like that video. That's coming, I think, early next month. Hopefully that'll come early next month. My very next video that's dropping this week, though, is a Big Mac video. It's a Mac 10 45 ACP printed receiver, and it's got all these gadgets and doodads on it, and it's just a really fun, crazy, big-ass Mac 10 that just looks super cyberpunk and cool, in my opinion. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy that video. So that's coming. Then we got the Super Safe video. We've got a review of a KP104 from Kalashnikov USA, 7.62 by 39, normal gun review. So if you're not familiar with my channel, I don't just do 3D printed stuff anymore. It kind of was solely 3D printed to start, but because of the whole YouTube stuff and just to offer more content, I think guns are cool.
Right.
I started making normal gun content too, but I try to make it fun. And so we are, I'm doing a basically pimp, like a space AK version of the KP104 with a Sure Shot Mark III chassis on there. And then I took it to like the most extreme level of TISM, where I like put the GBRS, a fake GBRS Hydra mount on it with like a, like the crazy optic riser with the Soma gear peck, and just made it look absurd and took it to a crazy place. And so yeah, that video is in the process of being edited. We've got a 3D printed 50 BMG video coming as well.
Dude.
And I mean, that's the 3D
wild.
printed receiver, not the upper receiver, because that would end in a bad day. But yeah, a lower receiver that's specifically made for this 50 BMG upper. And that's with 3D Arms. That's his design. I've got the SF5 video, which is a 3D printed MP5, but it's the second version of it. It's going to be a K, which is going to be cool. I'm doing a review of the Resilient RS9 suppressor, which I'm going to try on a bunch of different guns, including a bolt action gun that's a 300 blackout, because you can use it with 300 blackout as long as the barrel's over 8 inches. We've got, let's see, well, yeah, the Plastercuff Draco looking on the wall. Oh yeah, I'm also doing like a modernized like heat AR build that's going to be possibly
Oh, that's gonna be
spicy, so that'll be fun. It's like a front sight post, but with like M-LOK rail, and yeah, it's yeah, we got that. What else we got? Oh yeah, I've got DIY night vision that I'm working on. It's like 3D printed housing for night vision, and the whole goal with that project was to be basically under $1,000 or around $1,000 for like a monocular. So I'm working on that.
cool. Man, that's a lot of projects, dude. I thought I was you must have a folder, because what I do is as soon as I get a gun in or something, I have a folder. I have like 22 folders right now. You're probably reaching like 40 something folders, bro.
I got a lot of folders. I got a lot of hard drives, bro. Like, I try not to delete any footage because I just don't want to
You
delete
never
it.
know.
Yeah, I might have to go back and use it for something or whatever. So I have accumulated a lot of hard drives. And the way that I film, because I only have one well, I have two cameras, but I learned that setting up two angles by yourself is just so
It's hard.
impossible, basically, to be productive at the range and try to film the video and then get two different angles and focus.
Just having
them
someone to
on-
hold the camera would cut my range days in half.
Same, exactly. So,
God.
but the other thing about that is when you're filming yourself, you're also like using more footage because you have to press record and then walk to the place where you're going to be filming and make sure you're in focus and, see if you're in focus on the little screen and whatnot. So all that stuff takes more time, which means more footage. And then
Right.
also I try to have for my montages the option to slow it down into slow motion if I want to. So I always shoot my footage in 4K, 120 frames a second, which is extremely data
Data hungry.
Yeah. So I am averaging around 100 to 100 gigabytes of footage per video. So it's a lot.
Dude, that's a lot.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I have about 10 4 terabyte drives, and they're all full right now. I got to buy another one. And I back them up.
Jeez.
But I back them up too. And then but then when I back them up, it takes a long time because I back them up to like not SSDs. These are all SSDs, and so I have to back them up to solid drives or whatever. I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do it, but I've just gotten to this point where it's just like, okay, get back from the range, make sure I upload the videos. And I've also got like, what I've started to do now is I've decided that I'm just gonna basically treat SD cards as like as soon as like when the footage goes onto an SD card, I don't erase it. So like it's like a tape, and I guess a tape you can record it, but it's just like
Dude,
I'm
you're
taking
gonna
it as like,
burn through so many SD cards, bro.
dude, have you ever seen the you may have seen, dude, the 512 joints? Those last a while. Those will last like 5 videos for me. So I'll be able to shoot like 5 videos on a 512 gig SD card, and then you just keep getting 512 gig SD cards, and then you just collect so many SD cards that you wonder what you're doing in life. And yeah.
Dude, that's a lot, bro. I have the Western Digital like 5 terabyte hard drives, but I'm always scared that one of them is gonna break and then I'm just gonna lose it all.
See, yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like you want to make sure you back up the
Back up
files
the
that you
backup.
already back up. Yeah, back up the backup. It's a data management as a content creator, particularly someone that if you're doing live streams, that's beautiful because then the content is already backed up as soon as you record it, right? But
Yeah.
if you're doing a lot of editing, a lot of filming, and that footage is very important, it's a tedious and it's a never-ending problem that needs a better solution.
Yeah. What's really cool, what StreamYard started doing is they actually record me separate, you separate, and then both together. So you can download just one or the other, which is pretty cool because, what if I want to squish this all together and make it bigger for like I'll repost some segments or some clips of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is cool. That is cool. Yeah, StreamYard's great. They definitely took. What's the other the program that's the I forget the name of it, but they took it. They took over their territory basically.
And let's see, SSDs have no elastic bands or motors to fail. That is true,
Yeah, yeah. That's why
but they do
I
fail.
They can fail for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had an SSD in my Mac, my iMac fail, but yeah, the SSDs I found are the best for editing because they're just super quick and you don't get any lag, and that's important. That's super important.
Yeah. Well, hey man, thank you so much for coming on. I did have one last question. Are you coming to Kalash Bash in Houston, Texas?
Oh
Have you been
man,
to a Kalash Bash in
I have
Houston?
not been to a Kalash Bash. I would love to go. When is Kalash Bash again?
April 13th and 14th, I think.
Oh man.
Clay, if you're still here,
So so believe it or not,
let me look it up.
I may be actually in Texas, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it to Kalash Bash because I'm planning on going to see my very first MotoGP race, and that is happening on the 12th, 13th of April.
Is
And
it in Houston?
It's in Austin, so it's not near
Austin's
Houston.
pretty fun. 6th Street is a blast.
I have been to Austin. Yeah, 6th Street is a hoot. The MotoGP, unfortunately, back in the heyday with like Nicky Hayden, if anyone follows motorcycle racing, like they had 3 rounds. They had Indianapolis, Laguna Seca, and at one point they had all 3: Austin, Laguna Seca, and Indianapolis. But they've removed Indianapolis and Laguna from the calendar, so there's only one race in the U.S. all year, and it's in
Dang, it
Austin.
sucks.
So I'm trying to make it.
I used
to
to play that
'cause-
video game on the 2600, man.
Oh yeah, dude. MotoGP, in my opinion, it's the most exciting, thrilling motorsport in existence. I mean, F1 guys and NASCAR guys, I get it. That's cool too, but there's something about when people are next to each other on 300 horsepower motorcycles that can do 260 miles an hour, and they're like rubbing shoulders and dragging shoulders and elbows
That's
on the
wild,
asphalt.
man.
Man, that shit is. And I race. I mean, I don't race, and I ride on the track, so I kind of know the feeling of at least riding on the track on a motorcycle. I'm not dragging elbow at all. It is just a cool thing to experience watching that and watching the best in the world do it. Definitely amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well, man, I don't know the last time you're in Austin, but if you get a chance, you watch comedy shows. The Mothership, Joe Rogan's Comedy Store is there, and that's a cool comedy club to go to.
Oh yeah, I would like to check that out. Yeah,
That's really
yeah.
freaking cool.
Hell
They don't
yeah.
serve food though. It's kind of a bummer.
Oh man,
I went
that is a
hungry,
bummer. That
and
is a
then
bummer.
we had a couple drinks, and then we were so drunk on empty stomach. We thought they
Oh,
served
man.
food there. Hey, everybody in the chat, if you're not a subscriber to PSR, Print Shoot Repeat, I just put a link to his channel in the comments. I'm sure you are a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please like and subscribe. I'd greatly
Subscribe.
appreciate it. And man, any last words, buddy?
I just want to thank you, Smash, for having me on, and it's been a pleasure. I'm glad we were finally able to make it work. I know it took a little while on my end to find time, but I really
Dude,
appreciate
I
you
really
having
appreciate
me
it, man. My 100th episode, bro. My 100th.
on. Yes, dude, I'm stoked to be the 100th episode. That is badass, and thank you for everyone who watched the stream. It's been a joy to answer all your questions, and I would just say, keep on trucking in life. If you're having a rough time, remember it could always be worse, and you'll make it.
Yeah, that's very true words right there. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you.
Peace.